Hello lovelies, so this is a video that's updating you on my process. I'm kind of doing this as a journal. For those of you who don't know, I am putting truth as the number one priority in my life above everything else, and I'm seeking truth, which may lead me to self-realization. It also may lead me to a park bench and homeless. We'll see what happens. I do have a faith in knowing this of where I'm going, but there are definitely times of doubt as well. So it's been I guess I'll give you a quick recap on the journey. It's been I don't know, 20 years, maybe 15 series of just, at first, I'll go through this pretty quick. At first it was just acquiring knowledge. Every book I could get my hands on, but it all came from this desire for truth. And then there's been two times before now where I put everything aside and I'm a real estate investor, so luckily I could do that, but I put everything aside and just went full on, I'm going to self-realize. I know it sounds kind of crazy to some people, and it is kind of crazy, honestly, because it's a thing that a lot of people don't even believe is possible, or they think it's a myth, or they think that it's I don't know. It's probably the hardest thing to achieve on earth. That's a possibility. It's all how you think about it though too. So it can be really easy too. Although that's not usually the case, because we have to overcome the I and the ego, and that's the battle. So I put everything aside twice. One time I was doing all this pranayama, and I was just sitting in meditations. I was using the Kriya Yoga book, the blue book, if you guys have seen that. And I got to where I had some satori's, and I went to one of my spiritual coaches, and she's like a psychic too, and she's like, dude, you're gonna open up in probably less than 2 months. And I did have some wild openings with the energy centers. Basically, all it is, guys, is the majority of us are trapped in the lower centers, the lower 3 chakras. I've got my hands down here, and that's where the ego is, and that's what causes a lot of pain. And when you can burst up into the heart and then on up to the higher centers, that is essentially self-realization. And like I said, a lot of people don't even believe it's true, or a lot of people know about it. They think it's like a myth, or they think it's something that is just too outlandish, too woo-woo to go for. I felt that way in the beginning, and when I studied it and saw all the different documentations of it happening and what it looked like, and studying all these different masters and things like that, then I started to realize that not only is it true and possible, but it's also what every single religion essentially talks about. I mean, it's the Holy Grail in the Bible. It's the return of Christ in the Bible. And it's in at the core of every single original religious teaching before it was perverted. So anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. That's what I'm doing with my life. I pushed really hard once, and then sometimes when you push so hard, we talked about it in my pendulum video, I pushed so hard that I got thrown way back into illusion again, and the ego and chasing and trying to make money, trying to manipulate, and just going after all these things. And yes, you can make money without manipulating, but it is kind of rare, to be honest. So again, here I am, because as I get pushed back to the other side, I realize that this is my life, this is my pathway, and at this point I've completely surrendered to that. And that's why you guys get to watch me on this channel. I'm going to be completely honest and tell you what I'm doing, and who knows, maybe I'll end up a fool. Actually, a fool is a good thing, because when you're a fool, you're free to self-realize, because you don't have all your concepts in the way. But like I said, maybe I'll end up dead broke and starting over again in the middle of my life, or maybe I'll make it. You never know. So that's where I'm at right now. That's what I've been focused on for the last 1.5 years, zooming in on this process. This video is getting longer already, so just zooming in on what's happening for me now, just to give you an update on my process. I moved to Costa Rica about 1.5 years ago, and I just literally sat on my couch and let everything out. I developed the ROAR method: relax, observe, allow, release. And it's essentially the same thing that Michael Singer teaches. It's the same. It's just a technique of sitting down, relaxing, and pulling your energy back to your Bindu point and allowing stuff to come out. I'll put a link in the description. It's free. You can join our community and do that if you want. But that's what's worked for me, and it took me 1 year of like a dark night of the soul. In all honesty, the last 6 years has been a dark night of the soul, because once I did ayahuasca and truly like stirred up that energy, what happens is the energy gets awakened and it pushes into your samskars and into your traumas and illusions, and many of you are probably feeling that, like you don't want to go to work anymore, you don't want to do anything because there's so much illusion and what's the right word? Just beliefs that are erroneous that are causing you pain, and you're awake, like you're awakening, and so like that stuff has to come out. So that's what I did in Costa Rica. Was I sat there and I just did roars every day. There was a couple days where I didn't do a roar because I was out going to waterfalls or whatever, but that's a great place to do them, by the way. But I would sit on my couch for sometimes 3 or 4 hours a day and just let this stuff out, and tears and snot coming out my nose, and like my whole thought process of who Brad was is like completely gone. Like I don't act the same way. I don't feel the same pain, the same traumas. It's almost completely gone. Like my vessel is so clean and clear now. It feels great, and I don't know. I mean, I could be 10% done. I could be 90% done. I have no clue. I've surrendered. It's so weird because the whole thing's actually an illusion, and it's like you do go through a process, but you really realize it's like how do we explain this? It's like you're beside this pristine stream of water. It's like the freshest water in the world, and you're standing there just dying of dehydration, of thirst, and you're like squeezing rocks to try to get water out of them. And right behind you is like this stream of pure consciousness. So it's, the stories of people when they do pass through to the absolute and self-realizes, they're like, it was there the whole time. Like the whole thing is like the whole thing of not being who you are, or who you like. The whole illusion is the I, right? And when that actually flips, you're like, oh my God! Like then you're in what's the true reality. And so that's where I'm going. That's what I'm going to attempt to do. That's where I already am. That's where we all already are. That's the paradox. But we've got this overlay. It's like Plato's cave, right? The allegory of the cave. Like we're watching this whole thing and thinking that we're a character in this play, but we're actually not. It's a full-on illusion. So those of you not on the path are probably like, holy shit, what is he talking about? But the thing about self-realization is once you hear about it, like it plants a seed in you, and whether it takes lifetimes for you to finally pursue it, or you decide I'm going to go after it, it depends on how awakened your energy is. It depends on your soul's path. It depends on your previous lives, things like that. But for me, like I don't really have a choice. Part of the reason I'm doing this is because every time I turn away from this, the pain is just so severe. So I've been pushed into this for whatever reason by source, right? And so, okay, so now you know my background. I spent the last year plus clearing. Then I moved to Tulum, and so the same thing. Those last year and a half has just been this. This is what I do. Like people ask me what I do. I still do real estate a little bit. It doesn't take a lot of time, but this is my priority, like hands down. There's nothing even close second. And so what do? I meditate a lot. I mean, a lot. Like 2 hours a day plus like of actual meditation, and then everything that I do, I try to stay back, as I teach in the Roar method, I try to stay back in the seat of consciousness. It's like a throne where you can watch everything. Whether it's a king's throne or a queen's throne, you sit back there and you just watch the play instead of being out there like grabbing a hold of stuff and playing with the illusion and getting burned with desire and fear. So I pretty much try to meditate all day long, to be honest. And as I've purified, like for me, this is just my path. And there's a chance that you don't have to go through what I went through. That's kind of the hopes of this channel, is that you can watch what I'm doing, and I guarantee you I'm making mistakes. I'm going off of knowingness. I've studied a lot at this point. Now I don't study hardly anything. All I really do now is listen to Nisargadatta. I still listen to Papaji quite a bit. I'm going to tell you the story about what happened today. So I just listen to these masters distilled, and just to kind of remind me as I'm going to bed, or sometimes when I get way too into the ego mind, when I'm like trying to solve these problems and I'm thinking and stuff, like by the way, that's the whole thing, guys. Like this pathway is learning to not think. That's the whole thing. Which to a lot of people are like, how the hell can you do that? There's so much I could talk about. So anyways, after I cleared all this trauma out, and I started to get clean and clear and feel fresh and feel alive, and like I don't even have a very little sense of identity. Like I don't really care or know. Like I get my shirts at the Walmart. Like I don't care. Like actually this one's from Amazon, but I don't care. I just don't care about that stuff. I don't care about experiences. I force myself to go. It's almost like I do force myself. I force myself to go out and socialize and stuff, but I have no interest in it. And I know that scares people, but what happens is, I'm not gonna go off on that tangent. This is like, you do reintegrate with society. If you study the 10 Zen cards, what are they called? The 10 ox herding cards. Like the last step is after you realize you go back into society and you don't even really teach, you just be. And that is the teaching, right? And so this isn't about separating yourself from society. This is about separating yourself from illusion to find out who you are and then go back into the world. And that doesn't mean you can't be in the world and do it, be in the world but not of it. You can do that, but you're gonna find that this path is somewhat, you are alone a lot. It's not necessarily lonely because what you're tapping into is it's God energy, guys. I mean, this is becoming one with God. This is oneness. Like it is the most beautiful thing you'll ever experience in your life, even the glimpses of it that I've already had. And if you're on this path, you probably had glimpses of it as well. And so you don't want to say you're lonely, because you're not lonely, but it's kind of a solo path. And from what I've seen, honestly, there's very few people truly doing this. A lot of people talk about it, and I'm sure there's a lot more doing it than I realize. But you saw my video on the false teachers. There's a lot of people that want to do it and don't know how. And that's why I'm providing my pathway, which may or may not be right. I don't know. But there are a lot of people are trying to do this. A lot of people are yearning for this. A lot of people are waking up. But there's these false teachers leading them. They're just going in circles. It's no different than going to a psychiatrist. No disrespect to psychiatrists, but you have to get rid of the illusion. However you do that, even plant medicine, like, it helps, but at some point you have to build this mechanism within yourself, and that's what I decided to do. So recently, after I've cleared everything out, or a lot of things out, I have no idea how much more is there. Like my life has just become extremely beautiful. Like I feel in my heart, like I can feel this energy rising up. I've had this for a long time, but it's getting stronger. Like there's this energy that comes up my spine, and it's like a rolling thunder, and there's a term for it in Hinduism and stuff. I can't remember what it is, but like I can hear this rumbling between my ears. Not all the time. Sometimes it's so strong that I just sit and close my eyes and boom. And other times it's like I can't even find it. But what's happened to me recently is I've had 2 full-on like bursts of energy come through. And again, what's essentially happening here is I've cleared out the traumas that allows the energy to rise. There's 3 nadis, and let's see if I can name them: Pingula, the Shushuma, and the Ida. And I believe the Ida is the female one, and so it comes up the left side, and then the Pingula comes up the right side, and then once those 2 break free through all the samskaras and rise, then the center one opens, and that's when it's like game over, right? So it's a process. And there's if you go to swamij.com, you can actually read about this. There's a lot of great information on there. So I digress. So what's happened is I'm barely getting, from my understanding of it and my personal knowingness of where I'm at in my pathway, the right side's been open for a while. The left side is a female side, and generally men will have more wounding on the heart side. And so that's just now like opening up. And what's happened in the last 2 weeks, I've had 2 4-hour long, like one of them was a pure state of Turiya. I talked about it on another video where like I was in pure awareness, and like everything that I saw was like for the first time I had ever seen anything. It was like being a child and like just staring at like a chair or a wall, and it was just like, oh my God, like I actually saw without all those layers in front of me, and that was like extremely beautiful. And that's like a taste of the pureness of who we are without all the illusion. And then I had another one, this was about a week ago, where I was just meditating and the energy just came up so strong. Like it just started, like, it was so strong. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, that it was uncomfortable to sit in it. And I sat in it for probably about 30 minutes. And then afterwards, I was still just like bubbling, like it was crazy. So that lasted probably 3 or 4 hours. And these are just feelings of like bliss, but you can only handle so much of this energy. This is who you are, by the way. This isn't like some fake thing that comes from somewhere else. This is you. This is your divine right. This is what the cabal doesn't want you to know, guys. This is who we are. Like, we have amazing power. Like, that's why they put all the crap in our food and the stuff in our water and the stuff in the air, is because they want to kill this side of us so that they can control us. We actually have within us the same thing that Buddha does, the same thing that Jesus did. Everybody has that within them, but it's been so dormant because of so many forces. And that's part of what pissed me off and put me on my trail, because I'm like, fuck you, man. You're not like taking my divinity from me. Are you kidding me? Like that pissed me off. So that lit my fire. So I had those 2 experiences, and then this morning it happened again. Like, I was listening to, if you search on YouTube, I might actually read this on my channel, but if you search on YouTube and you go to, just search Papa G Surrender, and he was talking about how the I is the source of all problems, which is ego. But he said it in a way like where you just drop the I, like when you're speaking, you use the word I, because it's just like you're communicating. But in your mind and your thoughts, like I need, I want, I should, I have to, I need to do this, or that won't happen. Like that whole I, if you just drop that whole thing, for me, it puts me back up into the higher chakras, and I'm just like, and so I did that, and I was really focusing on it, and all of a sudden, the same thing happened again. It's the last time where that energy just came in so freaking strong. It's like a white strobe light. It's just like, and it's kind of like going like this. And I wouldn't say it's scary, but it's almost uncomfortable. Like you can, the more you surrender into it, the bigger it gets. And essentially, there was a knowingness that this was only like less than 10%, or maybe even less than 1% of the pureness, like when the whole thing opens. So I sat in that for as long as I could, probably 30, 40 minutes, and I started moving it through my body because it was up here, and I was moving it through my whole body, and it was like, man, it's like, guys, this stuff is like, you can't, I struggle for words because it's almost blasphemous to try to describe it. The absolute cannot be put into a word, like it just can't be. And when you start experiencing it, you'll know what I mean. And I've thought long and hard about doing these videos because part of me doesn't want to share this stuff. But I tap in and I get guidance, and I'm supposed to share so that if anyone does follow this pathway, this will help. Doesn't mean your pathway will be like mine. It could be completely different. It could be faster, it could be slower. But I'm telling you, if you're not confronting the I, you're never gonna get there. And it's so popular in New Age to think that that needs to be integrated. And we're not gonna go into that on this video, but I tried that. And every master tells you, Papaji, Nisargadatta, Maharaj, all of them, guys. Michael Singer, Eckhart Tolle, like all of them talk about the same thing. So anyone that says they need to keep the ego has been overcome by the ego, which happens all the damn time. Happens to me still. Happens to me throughout the day. Like I swing in and out of it. And you start to see that. And so that's what that whole surrender video was about, was just dropping the I thoughts. Papa G's very direct. Like a lot of those guys that I tell you that I follow, I don't want to tell you that you're not ready for them, but if they're too far for you, you may have to start, like, I would start with the roar method, because you just got to clear that stuff out. And that's what works. And the roar method isn't like, it's just relax, allow, relax, observe, allow, and release. And so it's nothing complicated, but okay, so that happened today, and the bottom line is this energy is starting to pulse up the spine, like very strongly. And I've let go of where am I, or when will it happen, or how will it happen, or what do I do? Like, because every time I ask what I do, they're like, just get the hell out of the way. Like, stop trying to do things. That's the I. What do I do? Like, you just let go. Like, this energy is so divine. This is the energy that created the universe, that created you. It's you. It is you. There is no separation, guys. The biggest lie ever promulgated on mankind is that we are separate from source. That is what causes the entire illusion. The fall from the garden is the knowledge of I talk about know thyself, and that's the true self. But instead we know the false self, the separate self, which is a complete illusion, which creates the entire matrix, which creates all suffering. I mean, that's it, guys. I don't know if you can understand that. It took me 20 years to freaking figure all that out. And that's it. And so as you remove those things, the energy starts to flow. As you remove the traumas and the stamp scars, the energy starts to flow out of you. And then this is where I'm at. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just going crazy. What is crazy, right? Like, I am going crazy compared to what 99% of the people in the world do. But I see that as crazy, and that's also why I don't like to go out that much. Because I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here? Everybody's wearing a mask and walking in an illusion. It's a great Maya. And it's painful. I mean, it's no judgment. It's just painful. Especially when you start to see through it. It becomes very painful to watch or be a part of. So that's the update on my journey. It's exciting because these events are starting to happen more often. In summary, it feels like the energy is increasing. I surrender to it. If it takes however long it needs to take, I try to stay out of the I thoughts. I try to stay back in my seat of consciousness, which is taught in the Roar method. And it's beautiful, man. I mean, I feel amazing. My health feels good. Like, I pay much more attention to what I eat, how fast I eat. Like, when I'm folding laundry, like, I just do it really slowly. It's like it's like learning how to live all over again. And they're just giving it to me. I say they, but it's really me, at a pace where I can handle it, because this energy is so powerful that, I mean, some people, it's just not good if it comes in too fast. Let's put it that way. So very exciting. If you guys have experienced similar things, you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching. Share in the comments what you want me to talk about, what you've experienced, anything that you feel like chatting about. And if you do like this video, please do so, and subscribe to the channel as well, and support me as I go crazy, or become self-realized. Stick around to see what happens.